Just over a week on from the messy split, Sussan, Ley and David Littleproud will meet tonight in an attempt to reform the coalition. Let's go live to senior political reporter Trudy McIntosh, who was outside the party room. Trudy, we know the spill failed as expected. Anything more from that party room as yet?
No, nothing yet, Tom. We've seen the Nationals whip Michelle Landry come out pretty quickly after this meeting start to confirm that the spill moved by Colin Boyce did not pass. It didn't, it sounds like, get past the first procedural hurdle. This had been as expected, but this is the Nationals whip Michelle Landry.
I'd just like to say that there was a spill motion in the National Party room and it was unsuccessful, so David Littleproud is still the leader of the Federal National Party. We're not disclosing that, I'm sorry. We're all working together and, you know, our goal is to work sensibly with our colleagues and just get on with being a good opposition against the Labor Party.
Take Chester's motion on rejoining the coalition?
Look, I'm not discussing any of that at the moment. We've just had that, so we haven't had any other business as yet. So.
Michelle Landry asked there about this motion being put forward by MP Darren Chester. He put forward this motion to try and call on the Nationals leadership to meet with the Liberal leadership to reform the coalition, believing that that is in both parties' best interest. That is what's being debated behind closed doors now. There are differing views in the room as to how important it is to get the two parties back together, how quickly that needs to happen. And the other big question here is, are the Nats willing to move on their central red line? And that was that they'll only reform a coalition if Sussan Ley reinstates the three National senators who voted no on the hate speech bill. They were part of the shadow cabinet. We know they offered their resignations and they were accepted by Sussan Ley. Tonight, Sussan Ley and David Littleproud will be meeting here around 6 p.m. to see if they can broker any sort of agreement before party room meetings will be held again tomorrow, the Libs in the morning, also a special Nationals party room meeting to see if they can reach an agreement. I spoke to, before the meeting, the National Senator Matt Canavan and a few other Nats earlier this morning. Think the coalition's going to get back together tonight?
I don't know. I'd like to see it.
Well, once we deal with the spill motion, I'll be moving my own motion to call on both leaders to work in good faith as a matter of urgency to reinstate the coalition, because the things that unite us are bigger than things that divide us. We are stronger when we work together.
Sometimes in politics you have to just eat a little bit of humble pie, and I think that probably needs to go on from both sides. Both sides weren't entirely blameless.
So just about, or vast majority of the Nats want to get back together, but for the Liberal side, well, there'll be some saying definitely not at any cost.
Incredible bad blood is there, Tom, in the wake of the Nationals walking away once again in this term of Parliament from the coalition. It's been 11 days since David Littleproud stood up and said that the party could not work with the Liberal Party being led by Sussan Ley. Let's see whether he's going to have to walk that back if there's going to be any sort of reconciliation. But there are differing views inside the Liberals as to whether it's wise to immediately get back into this coalition agreement. Those on the centre-right, led by Alex Hawke, factional power broker, he wants to see the coalition back together. But moderates like Andrew Bragg, well, they're not so desperate, in his own words, that ultimately they believe the Nats should have to come to them. Have a look.
Littleproud is on the verge of scoring the biggest own goal in centre-right Australian politics of our entire history if he does this. So we are urging him not to break the coalition.
We're not going to cycle through some desperate phase of saying, you know, please come back. I mean, that's not going to happen. I think we should be honest about what we can control, what we can't control. We've tried to make it work. It hasn't been all that productive so far in this Parliament. And so if we go to the next elections as a Liberal Party and they go as a National Party, then that's okay.
Another thing to keep in mind, we saw last Friday Sussan Ley essentially issue a one-week ultimatum to the Nationals. She announced acting positions for existing shadow ministers within Liberal ranks to fill the roles vacated by the Nats. She said if they didn't reform by next Monday, she will announce permanent promotions for Liberals, Tom. So that's all in the mix ahead of these discussions tonight between the two leaders.